Show with David J. Maloney. This week, David talks to Tara Zeman of Visit Mobile and Carol Hunter of the Downtown Mobile Alliance with a song from this month's musical guest, Tyler Livingston and the Absolutes. Now here's your host, David J. Maloney.
Welcome to everyone at home and in our studio audience to The Weekly Show. I am your host, David J. Maloney, and to my right, subbing in for the Mogiles once again, is Tyler Livingston and the Absolutes. So, pollster Mark Penn just turned 66, although his age does have a margin of error within 3 years. In an interview with Cosmopolitan magazine, Elizabeth Warren revealed that she never actually washes her face, which raises an interesting question. How does she remove her war paint? According to a new survey, 77% of Americans can't find Iran on a map. I have to admit, I can't even find a map. In royal news, Duchess Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, said his daughter was mistreated, to which the manager of the trailer park said, "I don't care, where's the rent?" There are reports now that R. Kelly is broke. So then what did he do with all the money he stole from his girlfriend's Hello Kitty purse? Ooh, that's a rough one. So it's hard to believe that Wikipedia made its debut way back in 2001. I'm not really sure about that, actually, because I read it on Wikipedia. Last night, I was channel surfing, and Cheaters was on. It was actually a really good episode. They were following the Houston Astros around. And so this one's for Michael, wherever he is. So the producers here get a little peeved when my personally returning calls makes me late to the set. So for Michael, I've decided to take a class on punctuality. It starts tomorrow around noonish. If you've never seen The Weekly Show before, keep watching. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. We've got some folks from two different amazing organizations working to improve tourism, quality of life, and so much more for the city of Mobile. And then to cap the night off, we've got another original song from Tyler Livingston and the Absolutes. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back. Our first guest tonight is with an organization growing tourism, hospitality, and marketing in the city of Mobile to the nation and beyond. We caught up with Tara Zeman with Visit Mobile via Skype because unfortunately she couldn't be here due to the flu. And here is that interview. We are here with Tara Zeman with Visit Mobile. So Tara, before we begin, just tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved with Visit Mobile?
Thank you so much for having me, first of all. I am born and raised in Mobile. I love Mobile. I went away to Troy University, and then I immediately moved back to Mobile. I love the city, and I started working in public relations, and I worked in several different public relations agencies, and I quickly realized after a couple tourism clients that tourism is the way to go. Those folks are doing it right. And I started with Visit Mobile about 6 years ago, and I have been doing their marketing and communications ever since.
How did Visit Mobile get started? I mean, and what would you say would be the mission or goal within the organization itself?
So every city has a Visit Mobile. So we're called a destination marketing organization. Every single city has one, every single state. And our mission, our job is to bring visitors into the city. And that could be for a variety of reasons. Just an average person coming in for vacation with their family. A big part of our job also is to bring in major groups and meetings and conventions to Mobile, because Mobile is a beautiful place have a meeting and to have a big convention because we have the waterfront Mobile Convention Center. So big groups and big meetings, they love having their meetings in Mobile because they can meet in the convention center. They're smack on Mobile River, which is right on the port. And, I think we kind of take that for granted. And that's really, really neat for a lot of people. They'll be meeting inside and then they'll walk outside to Cooper Riverside Park and they'll see Austell and they'll see the ships building. They'll see the cruise ship right there. They're at Gulf Quest and, and then they can also walk right across the street and there's their hotel. And then there's, beautiful restaurants and, all these things that they can do when they're not in a meeting. So
now, Mobile used to be called the Paris of the South, and for good reason. What do you think makes Mobile so special?
Oh, I think a lot of people are kind of scared to say the word quirky. I think we should wear the word quirky as a badge of honor because I think we have such character and such personality, and I think we get it honestly. To say it's not tied to Mardi Gras would be kind of silly. I think us being the original home of Mardi Gras makes us a spirited and jubilant city. And I just think we own the fact that we're a little weird and we're a little quirky. And I think that goes with, when you have 300 years of history, you've got a lot of stories to tell. Sometimes a lot of skeletons in your closet, but that's why we have a lot of haunted things to do in Mobile in October. But I think the uniqueness of Mobile is that, it's so interesting and quirky and there really is just a lot to do. It's a melting pot of just a lot of things to do.
Yeah, but is Mobile quirky? No, that was it. No, I had to ask. So what are some of the things to do in Mobile that maybe nobody knows about? I think people would be really surprised about how many things there really are to do in Mobile.
There's so much to do. Downtown really has kind of evolved in the last 10 years. And now you have state-of-the-art art museums and history museums, and you have the Mobile Carnival Museum, which is always a must stop for visitors. I mean, really kind of wrapping your mind around the wonder that is Mardi Gras is always everyone's kind of first thing when they come to Mobile. But then if you go kind of, and I can talk for hours on downtown, but the southern part of Mobile as well. I mean, you have the Mobile Museum of Art, Bellingrath Gardens. You have the Botanical Gardens, not to mention we haven't even gotten into Dauphin Island, which is in Mobile County, which is, that in itself is a beautiful day trip or a weekend trip. A lot of people always ask, well, should people go to Dauphin Island or should we go to Gulf Shores? I think those are two totally different and cool experiences. But there's just so much, and downtown has evolved, and not only are we just outgrowing Dauphin Street in the best way possible. All the construction that's going outward with St. Louis Street and all of those, we're growing in the best way possible.
And downtown, speaking of downtown, it's pretty much exploded in the past 10 years. How do you think that happened?
I think, people, Mobilians have a lot of passion for the city. And I think what we're seeing, I know, in a lot of the business owners, these are local business owners who love the city and have a deep respect for it and want to see it grow. The gentleman who opened Southern National, Reggie Washington, his family is from here, and he and his chef, they had their restaurant in Atlanta, but he wanted to come here because he loves Mobile, and he was like, I want to open my restaurant in Mobile. And he has, and Southern National is grown, and he's the one I referenced about being nominated for a James Beard award, and I think there's just a lot of local pride.
Tell us about your perspective on the amazing food scene that's growing in Mobile, since we're on that topic.
Ooh, how much time do we have? I think I would put our
we
food
have about
scene,
3 minutes before the commercial break.
I would put our food scene up against some of the top. Honestly, I think what we are doing with food is innovative, and we're at the top. I really do. And I think also what we do with food, and we're very spoiled a little bit because we have such fresh seafood right in the Gulf. So everything not only just tastes amazing, but you just have you have the ability to do so much. And I think what we're seeing is these chefs want to come and want to open these restaurants. And there was 3 restaurants that opened in the last month, and they're quite a few more that are going to be opening very soon.
Yeah, I mean, well, both Mobile and Pensacola. I mean, it seemed like only 10 years ago, there was only a handful of places that you could go. Like, I remember 10 years ago, there might be 5 places in Mobile that you'd go, okay, you could go to True, you could go to Ruth's Chris, you could go to, you'd go, okay, these are the 5 places that you'd, go to. But now you've got, I could rattle off 10 places, easily. That are all, high-end quality places, but you're not always paying crazy high-end quality price either.
No, and I think one of the most fun things to do in Mobile is to do a progressive dinner. I mean, you go have a drink at the Haberdasher, then make your way over, go grab some flame grilled oysters, go belly up to the oyster bar at Winsel's and have some oysters, then kind of grab a sushi roll at Chuck's, then make your way down to Noja. And you've got to make your way to Noja for dessert. They have a ginger donut with a popcorn ice cream. You got to try it. It's just one of those things.
So tell me, are there any events coming up that we should make people aware of?
St. Patrick's Day. Mobile loves a good celebration. We just finished a little tiny one called Mardi Gras, but we're always prepping for the next one. And the next big one is St. Patrick's Day. We do it exceptionally well. Callahan's Irish Social Club, they basically shut the whole city, the whole kind of downtown down in Oakley Historic Garden District. And then downtown you have Loda Beer Garden or you have O'Daly's Irish Pub and Dolphin Street Blues Company. They have a green dress run and egg toss and all of the things. They have a race. I mean, basically the entire city is going to go green in the next 2 weeks. So we're going to keep it going.
Well, I appreciate you being with us, Tara. Ladies and gentlemen, Tara Zeman with Visit Mobile.
Thank you so much.
Our second guest tonight is covering the other bases when it comes to serving Mobile, with a focus on helping one of Mobile's biggest draws and attractions, I'll give you a hint, it's downtown, to continue to grow and prosper into the kind of downtown we would all want it to be. Please give a warm welcome to Carol Hunter with Downtown Mobile Alliance. Breaking out the Hendrix there with all along the Watchtower.
Years ago in another career, I hosted some interview shows. I never had a house band. That was such a mistake. This is so much more fun.
Well, you get a lot more. There's a lot more energy, and it just feels better and cooler. And we try to sometimes match the songs up to who the guests will be. You know what I mean? If there's one that kind of fits and makes sense.
Right.
So welcome to the show, Carol. So you're with the Alliance, right?
Right.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we are a nonprofit that sort of shepherds downtown revitalization, and we do that through advocacy and marketing and the management of business improvement services. And your office is downtown Mobile. You've been there how long?
For like 20 years.
It's 20 years.
Yeah.
So you were there even before we just ramped up. Our organization is about 15 years old now. And we grew out of the Main Street Mobile program that was lived within the city it was a department of the city of Mobile.
Now, you guys were started in 2005, yeah?
Right. And the week after Katrina, we spent, we spent the first month or so just picking up debris and cleaning, mopping, helping everybody get everything put back together.
What was the original reason for starting the organization?
Well, prior to that, the city had invested, beginning in about the mid-90s, early to mid-90s, millions of dollars in improving the streetscape in downtown Mobile, putting in great pedestrian lighting, beautiful sidewalks and curbs. But it hadn't really moved the needle much in terms of people wanting to be downtown. So the property owners, a lot of the civic leaders said, all right, it's time for us to put our money in. The public dollars have been spent. Let's create an organization, a business improvement district, that can take it the next step. And so it takes an act of the legislature to make that happen. And there's one other business improvement district in the state of Alabama, and it's in Birmingham. And through a process where the property owners actually signed petitions agreeing to pay an assessment to fund the services, and we were able to launch in 2005.
What would you say is the mission now, or the mission and goals of the organization right now?
Wow. Well, we just, every 5 years, we have to go through a renewal process. We have to be reauthorized by the City Council. And so we present to them a 5-year plan of work. And we're really focusing on developing the creative spirit of downtown. You know, we've done a lot in terms of beautification. The Business Improvement District it's one of the cleanest neighborhoods in the entire city. We have a crew of about 6 or 7 people who every day sweep up every inch of the 77 square blocks. And so it's very clean, it's very safe, and it's becoming more beautiful. So now we're working on the softer things, creating an environment where there is more opportunities for public art, making it a fun place. It's a clean and a safe and a beautiful place. We want to make it more fun.
Now, you guys have done some interesting things with street design, right? What are some of your best, what you consider to be the bigger successes in that? I'll
tell you what, low-hanging fruit that really has made a huge difference, and it is finding more on-street parking. Now, people always complain about the parking situation in downtown Mobile. And I always tell people the only places that don't have parking problems are places nobody wants to go. Mm-hmm. If you are a popular place, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to park, but we're able, just by working with the city and taking old loading zones that didn't have businesses in front of them anymore, turning them into parking. We worked with the city to get on-street parking on Government Street. It's a little thing, right? But having parking next to a sidewalk all of a sudden makes the pedestrian feel more safe. Mm-hmm. And so it activates the street in so many ways. So on-street parking, I think, was a huge effort in partnership with the city. We've been working with them on the Broad Street project, the Bring Back Broad, the Tiger, $23 million redesign of Broad Street. And if you drive downtown, I'm sorry that Broad Street is a little difficult to navigate right now, but when it's finished, it'll be a much more pedestrian-friendly environment, and that's our goal, because if pedestrians feel great in a place, it works for everybody.
Tell me a little bit about the brunch bill, because I understand that you guys were instrumental in getting that passed.
Well, you know, through a quirk in the legislation that passed a few years ago that allowed consumption of alcohol as early as 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning. Mobile was left out of that. So we had to go in and work with our legislative delegation on a local bill so that our restaurants could compete with the restaurants in Baldwin County. And of course,
people would be going to the other places.
Sure.
If that's what they wanted to do.
That's exactly right. And we have restaurants who have outlets in other cities where they were able to sell alcohol as early as 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. And it's a huge part of their revenues for that Sunday. Sunday's a big day, and alcohol sales are a big part of that.
So you guys have been fairly instrumental in bringing a lot of new businesses to downtown Mobile. And what would you say was the catalyst for that?
Wow, I think it was several things, but there's kind of a national urban renaissance. People want to be downtown. Young people want to live downtown.
A lot of cities are being revitalized in that way.
Right. So we've really targeted more residents. We have about 600 residential units just coming online or in the pipeline. That's huge. More people brings more businesses. You know, the 24/7, we have 24,000 people who work downtown. Now a few thousand are going to be living downtown. And that supports the businesses, the 58 restaurants, all of the nightlife. We've got, 2 or 3 dozen retailers. So it's a lively whole community right now.
Now, I guess You got Easter coming. Do you guys have any special events coming up for any of those things?
Oh, wow. We have our Easter egg hunt that will be the Saturday before Easter, April 11th, I believe. And that's always so much fun. We have, a few hundred children who scoop up 3,000 eggs in less than a minute. It's quite the scene. Yeah,
that's
it's quite the scene. They have to do battle with the squirrels because they love the Easter eggs as well. But it is a wonderful family event that really looks like Mobile. People come from all the neighborhoods.
Now, if people want to find out more about you guys, is there a website or social media, something we can put right there on the screen?
Yeah, you're going to put downtownmobile.org.
Okay.
And then we have, of course, all of the social media sites.
So once you go there, you'll find all the social media.
Everything.
Carol, thanks you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Loved
Ladies
it.
and gentlemen, it's Carol Hunter. That is our show for tonight. I want to thank Tara Zeman with Visit Mobile, Carol Hunter with Downtown Mobile Alliance, and Josh with Vista Event Production for again coming in and helping us with the sound. Closing out tonight's show, Tyler Livingston and the Absolutes with an encore performance due to raving reviews of Broken Showerhead.
Dressed in that green, slow hazy feeling came passing over me. I remember the day, I can't remember the face of that crazy day. Woke up today, I started a race, and all around everyone. Shower head, a pumpkin shower head, y'all. A pumpkin shower head. Long black hair down to her underwear. Fingers dressed in today, I started a race all around everyone. A broken shower head, a broken shower head, y'all. A broken shower head. Shower head.